everybody, it's Dave Murray, the big guy at Mayniax Branding, and today I'm going to talk to you entrepreneurs about knowing who you are at your core. But first, let's address the elephant in the room. Hey, elephant. That was really lame. That wasn't even funny. What I'm really talking about is the fact that I've got the red t-shirt on for a Mayniax Monday video for the first time in forever, and here's why. I timed my dry cleaning poorly. Yeah, I gotta start learning to get my stuff together. On the plus side, I do get to show off the red chucks. Whee! And that was lucky because my left leg's my weak leg. I'm surprised I didn't tip over. Anyway, here it is. Let's get started. Knowing who you are at your core is vital. And I was actually told who I was at my core several years ago. And it hit. I mean, I understood what they were saying and it made sense to me. But it still took a little while for me to figure it out on my own. The person looked at me, a friend of mine, and said, "Dave, you're an asshole with heart." Now, I like to sugarcoat words like that a little bit, and I like to say that at my core, I'm a smartass who likes to help people. But obviously, they're both pretty similar to what's going on. And because I know that branding is the way to go for me. And here's one way that I figured that out, or several ways, I guess. I've tried a lot of different gigs in my life. I decided when I graduated college, I have a degree in painting and drawing, I decided that I was going to be a comic book illustrator. So I did a whole lot of practicing. I drew Wolverine all the time. I drew Batman all the time. I actually made a little comic that starred Wolverine and Batman when they were older, and Robin and Jubilee when they got older. And yeah, I'm a nerd, but when I went shopping that around, I got kind of interest on the drawing ability. Nothing huge. Nobody went nuts. And then later on, as I was kind of touring around with Comic-Cons, because that's where you get discovered, I guess, for that stuff. Later on, I realized, or I found out, that a comic book artist works about 16 hours a day, a penciler does. And they get about $100 per page. So you do about a page a day. So you're working 16 hours on one page, you get $100. And I realized, I don't want to do that for the rest of my life. That's no good. So because I realized that, then I knew I wasn't passionate enough about being a comic book illustrator, because if I really was, then money never would have been a factor at all. You know, money shouldn't be a factor in what we're actually passionate about, right? So that was no good. And then later on, you know, even earlier than that, I suppose, I tried my hand at acting while I was in college. And it helps me with presentations like this, I suppose, getting in front of a camera. I'm not exactly shy. I can get up. I have speaking engagements that I do all the time. And it really helped me out like that. But the fact is, a short, marginal-looking dude probably isn't going to get a whole lot of leading man gigs. So that was out a little bit. You know, I had fun with it, but it still wasn't really, it wasn't the thing. I was a writer, a creative writer. I could have gotten a scholarship actually also for journalism. And I just, you know, honestly, I look back and I say, you know, with the state of journalism in the world today, with the state of the world today, I can probably do a whole lot more good doing branding entrepreneurs, to be perfectly honest. So I tried all those different things. And what I realized was, keeping in mind I'm a smart ass who likes to help people, or an asshole with heart, I suppose, I realized even if I had decided to be a comic book artist, then maybe somebody reads the comic book that I drew for 15 minutes and they get joy out of that, but then they're on to the next thing. Or if I were a journalist, it would probably be an opinion column because it's me, and people would get fired up, and even if they enjoyed reading the column, they'd be angry because of whatever issue the column discussed. You know, and I realized that wasn't really contributing to really helping people all that much. Acting, I mean, you look at somebody like Robin Williams. Robin Williams was probably one of the greatest actors of all time. He was a hilarious comedian, and I love his movies. I love listening to his stuff still. But even so, he put out several hours of fantastic entertainment. But even then, when you're done watching that stuff, you smile, you laugh, and you reminisce about it a little bit, but I just felt like, you know, I felt like even as acting, I just couldn't really, I couldn't help a lot of people in a huge way doing something like that. Now, I would like to maybe host an entrepreneurial. Yeah, that was some reverse hilarity. I would someday like to actually host an entrepreneurial TV show where I bring on a bunch of entrepreneurial guests. I think that would be a blast, and I think I could do that, and that would help a lot of people. That would be exciting, right? That'd be cool. So, acting wasn't really my thing. Journalism wasn't really the thing that could help a lot of people. Illustration wasn't really a thing that could help a lot of people. But with design and everything else, and I knew strategy from a young age and all this, and I got into the branding gig, and I realized, whoa, okay, this smartass that likes to help people can help a lot of people if he's branding. Because if I am branding around entrepreneurs with a cause, I mean, we don't want to help people that don't have a real cause behind what they're doing, then they're fighting for something real, which makes them happier. People join up with them, they're fighting for the same thing, which makes them happier, which transfers all the way down to their families. They go home after helping fight for that, and they're like, wow, I'm really charged, and I'm excited, and I'm happy, instead of, what, like, I don't know the latest stat, 80-90% of the people that have jobs don't even like them. These people go home and they're miserable, even if they're done at 5. These people get done at 7 or 8, and they're fired up and excited, and it carries on to their families and their friends. So I see what we do now as being the best thing we can do to help the most amount of people. This is where my smart ass, who cares a lot, who wants to help people, can really do my best work, and where I can affect the most. So that's kind of reverse engineering, looking at it and seeing why some things wouldn't work for me. Whereas what I've realized is what we do now, fighting for entrepreneurs, whether it's branding or helping you guys out in any other way we can think of, that's what can help a lot of people. And so that's it. Figure out who you are at your core. And maybe what can help you with that is look back at some of the things that you've done in the past. And you can say, wow, you know, that was fun. I enjoyed it. But my heart just wasn't in it like it should have been. And you can maybe use that to figure out why. And maybe all that will lead you to the same conclusion. That, you know, you're a smartass who likes to help people. Maybe that was just my conclusion. Yeah. It's a conclusion I like. Speaking of conclusion, let's knock this thing out. We're done. Have a fantastic Mayniax Monday, everybody. And as always, stay gutsy, gang.